classes going?
It's going well. The kids are vibrant and lively, which I think is always a good thing. And they've really taken to the work well, because I know I have a very particular way of working that I tend to take around to all the other organisations that I work with. National Youth Theatre, when I'm running workshops for LAMDA as an examiner, there's a sense of that physical, quirky kind of style that comes through that I think engages young minds. It's not only their language that's important, it's what they're doing with their bodies. It says so much. So it's about encouraging all of that in them and empowering them to speak, to have ideas.
But you're very structured as well. For example, just at the end there, the young people going, can we do this? Can we do? No, we're keeping to the script.
I think it's because it's teaching as well that discipline that the arts needs. I think there's a sense of inspiring kids, but there's also a sense in the arts of saying, you know what, actually, there comes a point where actually this is correct. It's like having a child yourself, isn't it? You encourage, and then go, right, that's brilliant. Now let's put it in a framework, because that's how your ideas and your work will shine. That's how it will look best. So I suppose I'm a bit of a free spirit, but a tyrant at the same time. But it works, it's been tested, and it seems to.
And without it sounding like an Ofsted inspection, what do you expect from the students at the end of a week?
Do you know what? I expect them to be able to have confidence. I expect them to be able to tell people their ideas without feeling that they're not valued, without feeling that they're too young to care or too young to have anything important to say. That for me is incredibly important. The fact that they know how to shape ideas other than on the written page. Because, you know, if you can shape ideas in a kid's head, they'll transfer onto the page, but you've got to get their minds alive. I know I've just finished a series of workshops at a school down the road, and it was all about bringing alive science vocabulary. So I like those challenges of the ways in which we can make kids creative with language, with stories, with whatever, because I think that's what we're lacking.
Is it a moral or intellectual panic regarding language? So a lot of people say that young people are using less and less words in their vocabulary. Is that a real danger, do you think?
I think it is. You know, I teach at a lot of drama schools and universities. Do I say this on camera? But, you know, I mark so much of the work of young people that I mark. There's a sense of not understanding the structure of a sentence, a paragraph. There's a sense of them not reading. You know, which I find incredible. My dad used to take me every week for a book at Hudson's, and I'd have to finish that one before he'd buy me the next. But for instance, you know, I know my daughter's nursery. I go in there and do workshops with those kids. There's some kids that have never got up ever to do anything. And when I get in there, they get up and they start to talk and they start to negotiate relationships with other kids. But all of our work, especially Impetuous Kinship, and it moves in a way into my educational work with Creative Blast, centres on stories, the good telling of stories, because if you can get a kid to start looking at books, start reading, then vocabulary grows. And I think you're right. It's a lack of reading. It's a lack of understanding the formality of language. You know, now we send an email. Well, all the formalities have gone. Where when you have to sit down and write a letter, suddenly you have to think about how thoughts are phrased, the use of words, and how wonderful words are. You know, I teach all my kids when I'm teaching them acting that words are like good food. You have to really enjoy them and use them in order to make someone's imagination come alive. Hopefully that's what I'm teaching these kids and everyone I work with.